Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. I really appreciate you guys checking out the program. Make sure that you hit the like button on your way in. On your way in, I got a special guest for today, DJ Urban T. Drinking his tea or drink. What are you drinking there, man?
Man, I ain't drinking coffee, brother.
Okay, okay. All right, man. All right, man. I appreciate you joining in, man. And y'all make sure you guys say hello and check in with the weather stats. I want to know what the weather is. We were talking about the weather before we jumped on. So um, y'all hit us what's going on with the weather wherever you are. Make sure you say hello so we can acknowledge you. Um, Here in Connecticut, we got I don't know the exact amounts. We got about, I'm just guessing. I probably shoveled yesterday about 12 inches of snow in my driveway, and then when I woke up, I got another 3 inches. So I'm guessing about 14, 15 inches. That's just my own thoughts there. And what about you down there in Texas, right? Texas, Tejas.
Yeah, Texas, man. The Lone Star State. Man, if we got them a smoke, got them a snow, bro, our whole city was shut down for real, like literally.
Yeah, yeah,
But we didn't get a lot, maybe like a foot. But the snow always turned into ice in Texas. So
right, right, right. Well, that's what they were predicting too. Is like 3 inches of ice or something like that during the Midwest and a little bit of Texas or Atlanta or something like that. That whole southern region
hmm
there. Yeah. So, but fortunately, I guess I don't know about Atlanta, but I'm anxious to see what people are saying in the chats here. Good evening to you, Rhonda. Make sure y'all hit the like button. She's welcoming you to the podcast and to the chat. It's
appreciate you,
still
Rhonda.
icy and it's still Rhonda's very good, man. That's my ride or die right there. We got 2 to 3 inches of ice. I'm glad you got power and internet though. Wow, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
And make sure y'all hit the like button. All right, man.
So
Go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
I don't know if you're familiar with what happened back in 2021 in Texas. So we had a very bad ice storm in
Mm,
2021. It was so bad that it shut down our grid all
mm,
over the state of Texas. So what they did, they ended up rectifying the situation by making our grid more sustainable for these type of weather conditions. But like all things, it's not perfect. But majority of the state was still receiving electricity. But I believe it was the northern part of the state that was kind of having some power outage.
mm. Okay. Okay. Um, I kind of remember a little bit of that. I remember a little bit of that. Um, I don't know if when I was working to when I retired in 2019, there was a crazy ice storm. I think it was in Atlanta where people were sliding all over the place and the
hmm
grid was again shut down. So I know that y'all suffer when it goes through the when y'all get the snow and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, correct. It was crazy. It was so bad that they literally had to siphon the remaining energy. So say for example, you live in this city, right? They'll turn the whole entire city grid off, so the other city could have electricity. They'll turn it off and go to the other city and keep doing that just so they could conserve power.
Oh wow. So it's more sustainable now. I'm hearing you say, right? Correct.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Okay. Good. 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 Over 100 car pileup in Fort Worth. Yeah, I kind of remember that. I kind of
Yeah.
remember. I definitely remember it in one year in Atlanta, but I kind of remember that down there in Fort Worth. Yeah, yeah.
hmm
All right, brother, man. Thank you so much for joining the podcast, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Urban. I have been on YouTube for probably a little over 10 years or so. I started my channel back in 2012, but I didn't become serious with my content until 2014, which we'll go into more detail about that later. Um, I've been covering a lot of red pill content, manosphere content as well too, and also I cover content dealing with religion, spirituality, trending topics as well too. And finally, I am a DJ as well. Then I have a professional career as being a recruiter. I also spent about almost like 8 years in social work too.
Oh, okay. You're a well-rounded guy there, man.
Yeah, jack of all trades.
What kind of recruiter are you? What kind of recruiter?
It does depends the type of business that I'll be a part of. Mainly it'd be like for medical healthcare sectors, where I'll be help recruiting nurses, doctors, different things like that.
Okay, okay. All right, we gotta talk about that, man. Maybe behind the scenes. Is that difficult to get into, or what?
Mm-mm. No, not at all, not at all.
Okay,
Recruiting is pretty much sales, to be honest with you. That's
okay.
pretty much what it is, son. You're going around and you're trying to see what candidate would be the best fit for that business. So you're pitching the company, policy and ideas and the salary to that particular candidate, right? And they either accept it or not, or they'll do a counter negotiation, different stuff like that. So.
Okay. Well, it sounds interesting. Sounds interesting. Um, all right. So, what made you decide to pick up the microphone, brother, and get on here and talk and and all that?
So, back in 2014, I ended up experiencing something that I would never thought I would experience. I ended up going through a divorce with my former wife.
Mm,
Um, Through that process, and I've been through a lot dealing with that, because well, we'll talk about this later too. Um, I would say a associate pastor at one point in time too in my life. And so when we got that divorce, my whole life just turned around. It just turned around for the worse. So I decided to go into content creation on YouTube because I simply just wanted to express myself. I wanted to just use it as a form of therapy for me, to
mm.
help me cope through it. And so that's where my humble beginnings started at on YouTube. Just going and just getting my phone and just start talking about my experiences or how the way I was feeling because I believe that it had to be other men out there that was experiencing the same thing I was experiencing. So.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That journey sounds a little bit like mine. Just kind of talking about your experiences about when life starts throwing you some stuff and you just didn't think it would ever happen to you. Yeah, I can
Mm-hmm.
definitely identify with that. And
Yeah.
so you're enjoying it now, huh? You're enjoying it. The show is growing and all that, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It takes a lot of work, a lot of work, but yeah, I'm enjoying it a whole lot.
Okay. Okay, good, good, good. Um, Concerning your divorce, if you don't mind talking about it, I mean, did you see it coming? Did you know it was coming, or how did that? I mean, how did that take you out? Or
Well, towards the end, I'm not seeing it coming because I also noticed the difference of behavior changes with my former wife, and I also was noticing behavior changes within myself as well too.
Mm,
I also noticed some behavior changes with her family as well too because I was acting, different around me. So
okay,
it was coming, but deep down inside, I still wanted to work out solely because of tradition, because I didn't believe in divorce, you know what I'm saying? Due to
mm,
my religious background, I didn't believe in divorce at all. I believe that, hey, no matter what, we need to stick it out or work it out, just like how they did back in the day. But unfortunately, it didn't happen.
mm.
And yes, she filed for the divorce.
Okay. um,
This started after
how long were you married for? How long were you married for?
11 years.
Okay, okay. Now did you grow up in the church? And this is where I first saw you at because when I saw you before, I saw some of your clips before,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh, okay, he's on to something here. And then I saw the clip. I think it was a live that you did with talking about what's his name there, Jamal
Oh,
Bryant.
Jamal Brown,
Jamal,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I'm like, oh, I gotta have this brother on the show, man. So let's get into your religious background there. What religion were you? Did you grow up in the church? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes, yes, yes. So I had a dual religious background. My father was a Baptist associate pastor. My mom was a evangelist. She's part of what they call Sabbath keepers, right? But
Mm.
modern day call them Hebrew Israelites.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, she was a part of that. She believed in keeping the Sabbath day. She believed in following the Ten Commandments and feast days and all the stuff there. While my father, on the other hand, he believed in everything. What Baptist ministers believe in. On the Lord's Day and Christmas and all the stuff there. So you can imagine how our household was growing up with parents with two different, total different religious ideologies. So one moment, my dad he be teaching us about the Bible. Then the next moment, my mom be teaching us about the Sabbath and keep the Sabbath holy. Then another moment, they all come together. We have this huge Bible study. Then within 10 minutes of the Bible study, they're arguing with each other about who God is and what you should or shouldn't do, and
Mm.
And so that's my upbringing. And so when I became a adult, I became what is known as non-denominational. So I ended up being part of a non-denominational ministry where it's I don't know, because like sometimes when ministers say they're non-denominational, they say that they're Christian, but they really not Christian, but they try to follow Christian ideology if that makes any sense, but they don't follow it all the way, if that
Okay,
makes any
okay,
sense.
okay.
So I was part of that particular ministry since I graduated from high school all the way into my college years and stuff, right? So I grew up in that particular church. I was a deacon. Then I got promoted from a deacon to a minister slash armor bearer. Then eventually I ended up became the associate pastor of that particular church that I was at the time.
Okay. This is all in Texas, right? This is all in
Yes,
Texas.
sir. Hmm.
Okay, cool. And so, how long were you associate pastor, and how long were you in that particular ministry? How long?
So it was over about I believe like 5 to 7 years I was in that ministry,
Mm.
and so I ended the ministry. I think almost like a year after that, because the reason why because I started questioning a lot of things that the pastor was teaching the congregation. So one of the things I was questioning was about, of course, the difference between the Lord's Day and the Sabbath and stuff, right, which I already knew because also within that timeline, right, I was going to seminary school and stuff.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
yeah, so I learned a whole lot about religion as a whole. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? So, and I started questioning a lot of things that the one pastor was teaching to the congregation. And so it became a conflict of interest. Then one of the biggest things that had me leave that ministry is because that particular pastor, he just wanted to just have church on a Sunday and that's it. But he wasn't doing nothing for us like community outreach or anything
Mm.
like that. And
Mm.
so I talked to him about that. Like, well, hey, can we just expand the ministry so we could be reaching out into the outreach? Where we can want to talk to people who are homeless, talk to people who really need us to be a part of the community. But he didn't want to do it, so I started doing it. He got upset about it. He ended up preaching a sermon against me about it.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
wow, wow.
yeah, pretty much saying that I was out of line and I need to follow the leadership of the pastor. Then start, misusing scriptures to try to justify his truth. So I ended up leaving.
Was this a big church, or what? Man, how many members or so?
It wasn't a big church. I'd say it's about like 50 to 75 people at this church. I never gravitate towards a huge ministry anyway. So
Mm. Mm. Yeah, that's tough, man. I grew up in a similar type of church. It was definitely denominational, but if you did something, man, you were called out, and it was the whole sermon was about you.
yeah, yeah. So
So I could
you
I
know
could
how I
definitely,
feel on it.
yeah. And
Yeah,
when you start to know that you're right, or you do some research and some reading and stuff, and it's like you said, like this isn't right, and you whatever research you're doing, whether it's formal education as you were getting, I was just reading a lot. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this don't make any sense, right? So that don't make
Yeah.
any sense, right? And then of course the whole outreach ministry thing is another thing. It's like, okay, well, why are we just talking to each other every Sunday, right? There's all people out here, and so I can definitely understand a little
Mm.
bit of that. When you have vision, it's hard to be stifled.
Yeah, yeah. So I was very, very active in that church. Me and my family was very active. Just like I say, I ended up becoming the social pastor there, right? So I did a lot there. I was worship leader, all kind of stuff, man. Filled a lot of roles, and my family they enjoyed that well. My wife and my children at the time they enjoyed that too. So they had roles to fill at the church too. So it had a family type of atmosphere, which I like. But when it came to the whole point of doing a commission for the community, you know what I'm saying, going out and outreaching and showing people that, we actually care about them, and trying to bring them towards the body of Christ, that's where, we had our difference. He believed that this immediate family that we got right here was good enough. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't want to move past that at all for whatever reason. I also remember, brother, that it used to be people that literally come into our church that we never seen before, but they were just part of the immediate community. Where there's that they'll come in, right? They'll sit down, they'll listen to the one message, right? Then afterwards, they'll be like, hey, I need help with this, or I need help with that, or whatever, and the pastor would turn them down every single time. And so
Mm,
I'll get upset about that too, and I'll go out my way, like, you know what, this is part of our commission to help each other, period. You know what I'm saying? Not just for them to hear the word, but it's for you to want to be of service to them. So I go out my way, and if they needed food or whatever, I literally feed them and everything, and start ministering to them. But he didn't like that. He like, no, because you can't do that, brother, because all they're gonna do is take advantage of you and stuff. Like, psh, I don't care. That's part of my commission. That's what we're supposed to
mm,
do. But he didn't like it at all, period. So,
mm. So what made you decide to leave that particular church, and did you walk away from all churches or religion altogether?
well, that particular church, and I left because we had a conflict of interest. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to do things his way. He didn't want growth in his church, and so I just couldn't do it.
Mm,
Now, what had me walk away from religion as a whole, well, going to a church building as a whole, is due to my learning. So I learned when I was going to seminary school that it was a lot of things that be withheld from the congregation, that they only tell ministers and people who are pastors, and overseers. So when I started learning that truth, that's why, like, man, these people are over here deceiving the congregation, deceiving the masses. Then I also learned that all of them are, tethered together, where they have to preach a certain type of sermon, throughout the whole entire year. They have to preach a certain type of sermon. If they don't preach a certain type of sermon, then they 501c is going to get revoked, or they're not going to get funded and stuff. So all of them preach the same exact sermon. A matter of fact, that's like if you look at like Creflo Dollar, TD Jakes, and these other ministers, you'll notice that if you notice the pattern, they all would preach the same exact thing, over and over again, what I'm saying, on that certain Sunday. So I learned that. I learned, the about the prosperity doctrine, that's a false doctrine too, that they teach them how to do in seminary school. I also learned that they learn a great deal of psychology as well too. Matter of fact, it's a prerequisite in seminary school to learn psychology. So they take psychology so they can use the sermons to manipulate the congregation to believe in a certain type of truth that they want them to believe. So it was a lot into that. So that ultimately what made me leave religion altogether.
How long did you attend seminary? How long was that?
It was almost like 4 years.
Oh, did you
Matter of fact,
graduate or
it was 4 years because I went to Dallas Baptist University in Texas,
okay?
DBU.
Okay, did you graduate? Did you graduate or okay, nice. Okay, you're very humble about this. Like, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just saying because now people will be like, oh, okay, we can listen to this guy. He knows all of the ins and outs. And I would probably say that about a lot of people. A lot of people just do a lot of reading. I never went to seminary, but I did a lot of reading, and a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. I came to the same conclusion. Like, this is all. What is going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't. And people would tell me about the manipulation tactics in order the best times to take offerings and stuff. Right, we had this really high service and stuff, and,
Oh
and
yeah.
what we would call in the Pentecostal churches, high services, and a lot of emotional stuff was going on. And then, of
Hmm.
course, that's the perfect time to take an offering, and that's why they do it.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, brother. They well, when I was in seminary school, they even taught that too. So they have different courses for that. They have people who want to be part of the music ministry and stuff, right? And so they'll teach them in the music ministry, like, hey, this is going to be the certain time we're going to do this, and we're doing this for a reason because we understand how emotions work with people.
Right,
And so
right,
it'll be a
right.
combination of psychology. They'll literally go and pick the certain type of music they'll go perfectly for that moment, and they'll formulate that music to tie into the actual sermon as well too. The reason
Yeah,
why I
yeah.
know is because when I was at that church, I did it. I
Right,
literally
right,
did
right.
it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so that's how I work. That's how you get people, into their feelings, and they have a feeling that in order for them to connect with God, they have to connect to this man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And that goes into the concept of tithing and offering, which they don't teach the truth about that neither, but
No,
neither
they
here or
don't.
there. But
No, they do not.
so
I keep saying I'm going to do a Bible study about that one day, about tithes and stuff, but I'm not going to do it. Well, I can't say I'm not going to do it, but I just haven't gotten into it yet. So,
hmm
um, you guys can shoot in some questions if you have anything. A lot of people are going in and about these denominations and this, that, and the other.
yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about black men in the church, and that was something else that we look at Jamal Bryant and his recklessness, and his wife, and the things that
hmm
he's done, and all that kind of stuff. And of course, as were turned off for various reasons, uh, these behaviors are turning off a lot of black men. What do you think that it has done to the black community overall?
So I believe that the current condition of the church has turned into more of a liberal feminist propaganda now. And there's a reason behind it. So remember, when I was telling you earlier that they teach us about psychology, these sermon level schools. Guess who will be most influential for that behavior is women.
Mm,
So they taught us to focus, the attention and emotions on women, especially vulnerable women. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Especially women who are single, or they may
mm,
be single mothers, or they believe that they have a disconnect from God, whatever the case may be. But they taught us to focus that energy on them. You know what I'm saying? Because they understand that once when you get the woman, you can easily manipulate the man into being however way you want him to be.
mm,
So once when they did that, they started bringing in, all these different women from different walk of life. Of course, this where the conversation go that hey, the women that could come as they are, you know what I'm saying? So
mm,
they start allowing them to do that. Then once they start doing that, they start having these pastors, overseers. Then they call them mothers of the church back in the day, but they don't have mothers of the church no more. But back in the day, they called them the mothers of the church, right? Have them groom these women to be a certain type of way that they want to be in this ministry. But all of it deal with liberals, you know what I'm saying? Liberalism, where where they groom these women into this feminist ideology, that the only type of man that you need is your pastor in God, not the actual physical man. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the whole concept where they talking about I'm in love with God and Jesus is my husband and all this weird stuff because it came from that teacher. So um, eventually, a lot of men like myself, we start noticing the changes of the behavior. We start noticing that these women will pull us in, right, just so we could get to these men who are overseers, right. And so these men who are overseers, they'll manipulate us to try to make us be lesser than them, to try to follow them. You know what I mean?
mm,
So, so once when they do that, right, that's when the dude end up or men losing their purpose as being men, you know what I'm saying, which we supposed to be leaders. You know what I mean? They'll sit up here
Right.
make the excuse saying that, hey, in order for a man to be a leader, he needs to follow God. And they'll say follow God means that you got to follow the overseer or the pastor.
Right. 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 Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So eventually the men, they just got tired of it. You know, they start seeing the truth behind it, and they just start leaving. Not to mention, you know, other stuff that was happening too, like, you know, the LGBTQ stuff that was happening, and, you know, different things like that. So
Oh, so your non-denominational church was beginning to accept that type of teaching, the LGBT in leadership or whatever they were doing. They were going along with that.
hmm
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
My
because
church. Go
they
ahead.
believe in the come as you are philosophy.
Okay. Oh, and then eventually God will fix you or change you out of your homosexuality. Is that what they were saying?
Yeah, but also as long as you love God, is okay.
Okay.
So
Okay. 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 Yeah, I got you. I got you. I got you. Big discussions, Dr. Anwar. Welcome, brother. He says, "Yet the Holy Spirit is female. The church I attend teaches that." Did you? Is that past tense or current tense there? Present tense. The church I attend teaches that the Holy Spirit is female. Have you? I've never heard that. That's a brand new one for me. I just heard
so
that one just now.
So there's a doctrine out there. I don't know if people are familiar with it, right? It's called the Serpentine doctrine.
Okay.
So the Serpentine doctrine talks about how it was Adam and Eve, and also talks about Lilith as well too. So
Okay.
there are different versions of the Serpentine doctrine. So the first version is that Adam, Eve, and Lilith was in the garden, right? And so what ended up happening was that Lilith, the one who caused Eve to sin in the garden against Adam. So instead of it being the actual serpent that was having the conversation, it was Lilith having the conversation with Eve.
Okay, I've
And
heard that
so,
before. I didn't know it was called Lilith. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I know it's
mhm,
called Serpentine. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead.
So in that version, Lilith had convinced Eve to have sex with her, and then then both women had convinced Adam to join in and have sex with them as well too. And so that's what ended up causing they own relationship to break with the Most High God. Now another version of the doctrine is that still the same concept with Lilith. Lilith, the one who manipulated Eve into getting kicked out of the garden because Lilith was actually married to Adam too, and so she manipulated Eve to purposely get herself kicked out of the garden so she could procreate with Adam. Okay.
Good Lord. I did not know all that. I had heard some variation of that, but I didn't really explore it too much. I was really heavily into the church. I just thought that was kind of crazy doctrine there. But it's all
Yeah.
I guess it's all kind of crazy. Well, I don't want to call it crazy, I don't know, but it's all kind of stuff out there. I never
hmm
heard that type of breakdown to it. And they get all that from the Bible? I mean, is that or that some other extra text or something?
Well, they got it from different books of the Bible. I believe some of it was just add on as may believe, but other it was came from different books like the Book of Enoch,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
different other lost books too. So
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Y'all make sure you hit the like button. Hit the like button. So at this particular time, so you're leaving the church. Now, were you still married at this time, or was that breaking down or okay.
yep, yeah, correct. And I was still married at the time, but we was already going through our issues, with our marriage. And so the moment when I made the decision that I'm going to leave the church, my wife at the time, she was very upset because, like I told you earlier, she was connected to them. She seen them as family. So by us leaving
Mhm.
the church, just like we leaving our family out together. And so I remember this. I remember that she had told me that the pastor had told her that since I'm the one who's leaving or be out of line, that she didn't have to follow me. She could still go to the church or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I told her
Mm.
like, hey, if that's what you want to do, that's fine, but I ain't gonna be there. You go all day long. I ain't going. So
Okay. Okay. So you leave the church, the marriage breaks down, and then you kind of start your YouTube channel. And I wanted to kind of explore that a little bit there.
mm-hmm.
and you kind of use that, as many of us do, as a therapeutic session to
Yeah.
kind of get ish off your chest, right?
Yes,
uh,
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and so tell us about that a little bit. I mean, you start your YouTube channel, you have a number of different topics that you want to talk about or that you discuss. Tell us about that process there.
Well, when I started doing that channel, I'm gonna be as transparent with you as possible. When I did it, I was going through my divorce, and within the divorce, she was going for the juggler. She was going for everything, man.
Mm.
We were still living with each other at the time. She made a false police report to get me kicked out of the house and put a temporary restraining order on me, or something that never
That's mighty
happened.
Christian of her, huh? That's mighty Christian
Yeah,
of her.
yeah, yeah. And, and then I ended up having to lawyer her up just so they could get that restraining order removed, right? But um, afterwards, right, I was the one who was helping, assisting with our children, taking them to school, there with them all the time, tucking them in the bed. And all of a sudden, I can't do that no more because I'm now the guy kicked out of the house that we both worked on together to get, you know what I'm saying, in our name. So no longer was able to do that. Then to top it off, she put me on child support. So then on top of that, while this was happening, my job, laying me off. So I didn't know what to do. So all this stuff was happening to me at one time and stuff. And so I'm not gonna lie to you, brother. One, it sent me into a depressed state
I can
because it's
imagine. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
I never experienced nothing like this before. So I didn't know what to do. And of course, during the time I was praying to God. Praying to God to help me through this, praying to God to see me through it. But in that particular time, through my mindset, God was not there at all, and I had to deal with it on my own, bro. Had to deal with it.
Mm,
So one of the ways I dealt with it was starting my YouTube channel where I just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go on here just talk because I just
mm,
need to talk to someone. Because like I
mm,
say, I lost my job, so I couldn't go to therapy at the time because of course you need money to go to therapy. So
mm,
like, you know what, let me just go on just talk on her, and that's how the way I started my channel. Just sharing my experiences of things that I was dealing with, sharing my experiences about how I felt about my relationship between me and God, share my experiences by the relationship with me and my children, and sharing some experiences by happening with me and my former wife as well too, you know what I'm saying, and hoping and praying that my experiences will prevent a lot of men from making the same choices and decisions that I have made.
mm. Very good. Very good. Um, and so that brought you kind of to the red pill space, as far as talking about the way that life really is, and you saw a different side, I guess, of women or of your, in particular, your ex, because now
Hmm.
she's taking you to the ringer, child support, filing these police reports, etc. So, what were your thoughts about women at that particular time? And again, you're dealing with a lot here, right? Being laid off and all this. Did that
Hmm.
kind of taint your view of women overall, or how did that go?
Yeah, absolutely. During that time, he did, and I view women as being evil. Let's
Mm,
be real about it. Just based off of that one woman, I seen
mm,
women that's being evil. I seen that their behavior was toxic and chaotic. You know what I'm saying? So it put me into the space where I started not liking women at all at that time.
mm,
But and I started learning later on down the line that these feelings that I was having, even though it was valid, these feelings that I was having is because of the choices and decisions that I had made. Because at the end of the day, it was me who decided to be with that woman. It was me who
mm,
decided to procreate with that woman, and it was me who decided to marry that woman and be with this woman for over 11 years. You know what I'm saying? Not nobody else, not God, not the devil. It was me. I made that choice to do that.
all right, so let's break that down because that takes a lot of maturity and a lot of accountability. That's a show I'm going to do about ladies one day. Is
Yeah.
you looked at yourself,
Hmm.
you looked at yourself and said, "Okay, I need to take some accountability and responsibility for the decisions and the actions that I made." What
Hmm.
was that like? How did you? I mean, obviously you're processing this through YouTube, etc. But how was that going from blaming looking at her to saying these are decisions that I made. Talk about that process a little bit.
Yeah, in the beginning, I didn't have this mature mindset at all, because
Mm,
once again, I was dealing with the hurt and pain.
mm,
I didn't get to that level of understanding until when the smoke and mirrors cleared, when everything was all said and done, the divorce was finalized, and I knew that it was nothing I could do to bring that moment back. It was nothing I could do to have the relationship with my children like I had in the past with them. I couldn't bring that back, but I could cherish the moments I have with them now. So
mm.
it took for me to get um, the therapy that I needed, because eventually when I did start working again, I did start getting therapy, you know what I'm saying, while
Okay.
doing the YouTube thing. And so
Okay.
part of my process through therapy is that I had to start holding myself accountable. Now, when I
Mm.
went there, of course, it was a woman therapist. So at the time,
Okay.
so
Okay.
she did challenge accountability. She did tell me. She said that, hey, I understand what you're going through is tough, but you got to hold yourself accountable. And I like,
Mm.
bitch, like. So I was upset, but then I started thinking about it. All right, well, she do got a point. I did make the choice and decision to be with this woman, and then she started going back into my past history of my dating history. She like, I see a pattern. You have this pattern in dealing with these type of women. You know what I'm saying? Do you know that based on what you're telling me? And then I thought about it. You're right. I do. And so this what led me to dive deeper into the red pill and stuff. Part of that, because I know that if I am experiencing that, right, if I am going for these certain type of archetype of women, I know that other men are doing the same as that thing, making these same
Mm.
mistakes. So that's when I became more seriously the sharing, my story about that. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that really does. Uh, that's impressive, honestly, because you went to a woman therapist. You're already having issues and problems with women. You pushed through it, listened to what she had to say, did this self examination, and it came out a better person and said, "Okay, yeah, this is the problem."
Hmm.
Do you mind telling us the type of women you was picking?
So I was picking women that dang, what's the best word for it? Women that I can mold. I guess that's the better word. Or groom. I was picking women
Okay.
who was vulnerable, type of women that I can want to groom into my current ideology. You know what I'm saying? I was
Okay.
also picking either young or older women as well too, depending on how the way their mindset was at.
Okay. So you're picking women who were, I mean, were they kind of down on their luck, or were they were just emotionally immature, or they had issues? I mean, what
Yeah, that's
all about?
yeah. Those mainly those emotionally immature, and so my mindset was that since God had appointed me to be the leader, then I could just guide them, to the way that they need to be. But here's the but part about that. It will work temporarily, long as you are doing the things that they want you to do in return. They're reciprocating, you know what I'm saying, to reciprocate. But the moment when you don't do that anymore, then guess what? They're gonna reset to factory settings, and then it becomes a problem. So
They hit that control alt delete, right, and go right back to where
yeah,
they were.
yep,
um,
yep.
so
But I
what?
mean, when you think about it, brother, that's how the way we are. Period. You know what I'm saying? This could be men and women, because it's women who be grooming men into the way that they want them to be, and then the moment when you're not doing what they want you to do, then guess what? The dude do the same as that thing. He reset. You know what I'm saying?
Hit that on off switch there. What kind of things were the type of women that you were dating? What were the type of things that they were expecting in order to get this compliance that I'm hearing you say you wanted some
Hmm.
type of compliance, some kind of submission, but it was at a price. And what was the price that you had to provide?
Yeah. So we both understand that women are hypergamous, right? And so their price was simple, man. Long as you could protect me, as long as you give me provision, and you do certain things that may be out of the normal, then that's fine for me. Now, out of normal is like, hey, babe, can you go to the store at 3 o'clock in the morning and get me something? Like shit, stuff like that. As long as you're doing these certain type of things, then it's
You
okay.
better be naked when I get back. I know that. I mean,
I know, right? But sometimes but sometimes they don't be like that, be that way. You know what I'm saying? They'll have you do these certain type of activities, but they don't want to reciprocate in return. They'll say, "Oh, I'm tired," or "Well, that's
yeah.
what you're supposed to do anyway, because that's what you said you was going to do, because you agreed to it." So
Right. Um, yeah. So tell us about your journey into the red pill space. You're going through this, dealing with YouTube. Uh, you're in therapy, working all this out, and so tell us about what you have consumed in the quote unquote red pill space and what you learned more about women. Tell us a little bit about that.
so after when I went through my divorce phase, right? About think about 5 or 6 years later, that's when I finally decided to enter into the dating market. When
Okay.
I entered into the dating market, that's when I learned a lot about modern women and modern women behavior.
Mm,
Uh,
mm.
I learned about the whole concept about being a simp and a sucker too, right?
Like getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to the store.
Yeah. So we could agree. Well, I don't know your age, but I'm in my 40s now. So I was born in '81. So
Okay.
back in that time, men was taught that it was okay to be chivalrous towards women. You know what I'm saying? Being a
Right.
gentleman, open up doors, for women, buying them flowers and different things like that. So that's what I grew up with. And so when I
Right.
entered into the data market, I had that same ideology, doing the same as that thing, opening up doors for women I don't even know, going on dates, taking them out and paying for meals. So when I entered into the data market, I had that same mindset, that same ideology, right? And so I started learning this, bro. I started learning when I was doing this. I started becoming broke really, really fast.
It'll happen.
so so they started wanting me to take them out, to these expensive restaurants. And so at that time, I didn't care. I was like, hey, it's in my mindset, I'm thinking it's an investment. And so I'm like, I don't care. So I'm going out on these expensive dinner dates or, dates, right? So after we go on a date, they say thank you, had a great time, get ghosts.
Mm.
And that pattern was happening repeatedly. And so I like, hold up. It's either me or them. Something is going on. And I'm getting broke doing this. And so I had this younger brother, right? This younger brother who worked with me. He seen me one day, right? Because we was at the sorry about that. But we was at a club, right, or a lounge. We was at a club or a lounge, right? And so I was also the one who's going out like buying random women drinks and doing different things like that. And so he was seeing me doing that. He was saying, "Bro, stop doing that." I'm like, "Why?" I like, "This what I'm supposed to do." Like, "Nah, bro, we call this simping." And so I like simping. So that's when I started learning about the concept of simping, is because he called me out on like, nah, these women these days, they be using men for that, and you're not gonna get nothing out of return. That you can't do that. And so when I learned that, I started learning the behavior. He told me about it. That's when everything started changing. And so when I started setting boundaries, then that's when I started having pushback with these certain type of women. You know what I mean? And so once again, I'm like, well, hold up. If I'm having these type of experiences with women, I know my other brothers are having the same type of experience with them as well too. And so this what led me to be a part of the red pill and the manosphere, and learning more about it. You know what I'm saying, within the space. So I started diving deep into it. I went all the way back into the beginning of how red pill was created. You know what I'm saying, and started learning about the philosophy of it, and everything. And so as of right now, that's what I talk about on my page. It's about the philosophy of the red pill. because I do have men who come over there. They're sharing their experiences. Some of these men, they have been hurt, they have been abused by women, they have been groomed by them, and they didn't got out of it. Some of them were fed hell up. You know what I'm saying? But I want to assure them the trueness about how the way red pill philosophy really is, which at the end of the day, it deals about us as men that we have to make sure that our mental health is important. We have to make sure that we're doing things as men to be actual protectors and providers, you know what I'm saying, of not only ourselves but our communities. We have to make sure that we add our social economical status as well too as men. You know, so we have to do all this. We have to make sure that we are matured mentally. You know what I'm saying as well too. So that's why I've been teaching in this space.
Mm. You said a lot there, man, and I want to kind of October is put in the chat here. I kind of want to piggyback a little bit off of her comments there. I like to have a few phone conversations with the man to determine whether or not I want to go on a date with the man. So this is what I don't think that a lot of ladies really understand is we're having these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
We and your story is the same as mine. I mean, it literally is the same as mine. Start having dates, you get ghosted. It's like, wait a minute, my game can't be this whack, and so we're having these conversations, we're getting to know people, we're doing all this stuff. But the problem is, as you mentioned before, like, where you're in your 40s, I'm in my 50s, I'll be 53 in a couple of weeks. We we are dealing with ladies who have not been trained to do this type of reciprocal dance that we've been talking about. I take you
Facts.
out, show you a good time, and then you call me back the next day, or I call you, and we continue that good time. They are in such a place of plethora that they are just enjoying whoever they're going out with. So the game, and a young brother had to put you onto that and say this is the new game. That old stuff he was doing, this 80s and 90s stuff, this 80s and 90s stuff ain't working anymore. And so
Mm-mm.
we had to kind of adjust our game. And at the same time, now think about this. At the same time, you are dealing with your ex who had, was putting you through something, and now you're meeting new ladies who are on some crazy BS at least that I would assume that would be your opinion. So this is
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things that more men are coming to the realization of, even the younger men who haven't dealt with divorce and all that kind of stuff, but they're waking up and seeing, man, it really is the game that's changed, in particular the ladies, because they still want the same thing from a man, a protector and provider. You still do the same things for me, but they're saying, I'm going to take that and I'm going to act a different way and not give them what they would expect. Am I wrong about that?
Oh no, you absolutely correct on that. You are. I want to add on to that. They want you to be a protector and provider for their convenience. They want you to do it, um, so they don't have to want to do anything in return. Period. You know what I'm saying?
Period.
They want to just leverage you. Period.
Right.
That's
Right.
where
Right.
it boils down to. But on the other hand, you being a man, right? You're being a protector and provider because it's your duty as a man to do that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
so that's where the mindset differs. You know what I'm saying? On the one hand, the woman is doing it because of this reason, but on the other hand, the man is doing it for this particular reason. Especially if he's trying to invest into her, and trying to build something with her. Now, the things that we're talking about, it's totally different if you just that type of man, you're just trying to look for a woman, you're just trying to smash and pass, you're just trying to look for a
Right.
bird or whatever. That's
Right.
different.
Right. Right.
But in
Right.
relationships, what I'm saying, that's what we're talking about.
Right. 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 Somebody sent me a message on Instagram, and I wanted to try to pull it up. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was sent through Instagram, but I'm going to try to look for it. But this is what we're looking for, and this is what people don't understand is that a lot of us we're looking for something substantial, and the ladies aren't willing to give that. And what I wanted to pull up, I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but somebody sent me a message about this guy really breaking down what's going on today, and he was linking when there is no structure, in particular male headed structure, that
Mm-hmm.
you will get rogue males who will go off and become monsters, right? They join gangs and all the other type of stuff that we know males do, and they get held accountable for, right? The police will come
Hmm.
get them, they be put away, right? We don't have these rogue males. He was saying that the exact the counterpart to that is when women grow up the same way without any guardrails, without any male leadership, etc., that they will go off but their rogue ways will be to use their femininity in a negative way. So the men use their masculinity in a negative way. They get into
Correct.
fights, right, and all this other type of stuff, fights, shootings, joining gangs, white supremacist groups, all that kind of crazy stuff. But the same thing will happen to the ladies, but they'll use it and they'll use what they evolutionarily was their power, and their power was their femininity, getting men to do things for them because they can't
Hmm.
beat them, so they got to be use their femininity in order to get men to do things for them. And
Hmm.
so now when the men are on steroids, we all have a problem with it, but now the women are on steroids and the men haven't adjusted. So I thought it was really, really good how he broke it down. I really wish I could play it, but I think I summed it up pretty well about his
Hmm.
about his philosophy. And I'd like to hear what you think about that.
So I will say this, just like I stated earlier, when women, they're, well, modern women, because I want to make a clear distinction, because there are actual good women out there, all right, but the modern women with this modern mindset, yes, they absolutely are that way. Just like what the guy was describing, you know what I'm saying, have this toxic, chaotic mindset, you know what I'm saying, this entitled mindset, and most of all, this manipulative, egotistical mindset as well too, because they know that all they have to do is leverage their beauty. That's it.
Mm,
And the bad part about this, brother, is that um, a lot of us men, we have not learned sexual
mm,
discipline. We
mm,
we haven't learned to look past the woman on look and beauty. We always gravitate towards how the way she looked first,
mm,
and then we
mm,
hold on to how the way she looked too, instead of just learning who she really is. And this what gets us caught up into the stuff that we do right now. Hell, I didn't dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't dealt with it, but I had to change my mindset on it, where it was beauty
mm,
first, more beauty. Then next thing you know, damn, I done got caught up.
mm,
Now I'm sitting up here trying to blame the woman. No, once again, no, it's not her. She only did what she felt that she needed to do, but it was my fault that I did it. I made it happen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what they are, bro. That's,
mm.
but now,
So there's
oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
But now, just like I say, I don't have any type of disdain for women. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like hatred or anything like that, because now I understand the nature of these type of women.
mm, mm. Uh, Big discussions puts in here financial celibacy. Have you become familiar with this particular term? This is a new term that's floating around here, where
Hmm.
where the women are saying, "Oh, I want to be celibate until I'm married." Right? I want to,
Yeah.
I want to wait until I'm married. Meanwhile, the guy is, as we said, spending money. You're going broke, all this kind of stuff, right? I often tell the story, well, not often, but I tell the story about one day I looked at my bank account at the end of the month and I saw, the little bank statements to tell you where you spent your money at, and I had spent over a G taking a bunch of different women out. I'm like, wait a minute, that's enough of this craziness. So I
Yeah.
came to the same realization as you. So I started adopting this. I haven't adopted completely this financial celibacy thing, but I'd like to know your thoughts about it. Again, it's about men not spending a bunch of money on women. Particularly if you're not going to get anything in return, and that return could just simply be your time and full attention, right?
Hmm.
You don't get a free meal out of me and ghost me. You don't no more of that
Yeah.
craziness.
Yeah. In that sense, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with the financial celibacy part, because it had to be a return on it, on your investment. If you're not getting that, then what's the point of even doing it? You know what I'm saying? It's like you're
Mm,
wasting money. So when women do the same thing with us, they call it the 90-day rule.
okay. Okay.
Same as that concept. They're like, well, I'm interested in you, but I'm gonna let you wait 90 days. Meanwhile, if they already been sexually active, guaranteed that they have a pookie, Ray Ray, or whatever, that they could call up at any time and let this dude smash while she letting you wait for 90 days.
Isn't that the craziest thing? And they're boldly talking about it. They're boldly
Hmm.
saying
Hmm.
it.
And
Well, you know,
then deal with your ego, right? Deal with your ego, saying like, "Well, I got him, blah 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 blah," but you got to work for me. Nah.
I don't know if they know how wild that sounds. That would make somebody who they deem to be a good guy, whatever that means, husband material, boyfriend material. But this other guy is just a plaything, and it don't count, and you should be mad about it or whatever. So, that's just bizarre to me. But yeah, and so that's why people are adopting this new philosophy. Like, no, I'm not. If I ain't the first guy, I'm certainly not gonna be the second guy. So,
Hmm.
October says the only thing I could suggest is that men use more discernment or stay out of the game in dating and trying to find a suitable partner. There will be disappointments for both men and women. I'm going to try to answer this and say it's not the disappointment. We can understand the disappointment. We're not about to play a rigged game in which, as we just mentioned, we're constantly getting ghosted by people who are incentivized to ghost because there's
Hmm.
another one. There's another trick around the corner waiting to take you on a date, or we know that you're having sex with someone else. Um, so what are your thoughts about using more discernment or just staying out the game? What are your thoughts about that?
I absolutely agree. I believe that our number one priority as men existing on this planet is for us to be about our Father's business. Period. Women should not be our priority. Period. We should be doing whatever it is that we've been designed and destined to do to be a beneficial to not only ourselves but to our community and to this planet. Now, also with that being said, and I'm gonna show you this too. I'm currently married now, but it wasn't because I was going out and trying to find a wife. I ended up on getting married to my wife just because she just was in, saying in my presence at the time. Because at the time we was working together, but I wasn't like at the time we wasn't like like attracted to each other, or whatever. We were just coworkers, just chilling. But we developed a friendship. You know what I'm saying? A coworker friendship. And she became cool. But throughout that whole entire time, I was still dealing with other situations with my life, and I was also building my life up as well too. So I wasn't even focused on even remotely trying to be in a relationship or anything like that. So I believe that when a man is actually in his purpose and he's moving in his purpose, I honestly believe that that type of woman will come into your life who need to be in your life. You know what I'm saying? Without you going out into the dating market, going on dating apps, doing all this extra stuff to find her. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's an interesting story. How long did you guys work together?
We worked together for we was in training and everything together. Now that I think about it, we worked together for just about 7 years. Yeah, at the same
Okay.
job. And back then, this one was doing social work. We were social workers.
Okay, well, you got to tell us about that. So you start training together, you're working together for 7 years, and would y'all just
Hmm.
happen to just show up to Justice of Peace one day and just get married, or how'd y'all end
No,
up together?
no. It's a funny. It's not a funny story. It's an interesting story. So, we worked together for like several years, and just like I told you, um, we met each other doing training. So after our first initial training at the one job that we was on working, we're right. Matter of fact, we was working for the state of Texas. All right. So after when we got through the training, you know what I'm saying? It was like, I think, yeah, 6 months. We spent 6 months of training together. And so after the training was over, we ended up losing contact with each other because she was on one part of the city, I was on another part of the city, and we never exchanged numbers. We were just cool, you know what I mean? And so a year later, after the training, right, we end up having to go back to training again. And she was just so happened there. You know what I mean? And so we started training again. Then that's when we really started like getting to know each other, chilling through training. Then I like, hey, so you want to go get some Subway with me? She's like, sure. That's where it started at. We were just chilling, just eating Subway sandwiches and stuff, right? Then we went to Church's Chicken and ate some chicken together during break, and that's where it started. At we started building a friendship, not thinking about dating or nothing like that. We just enjoying each other time and company. And so it went from that, and we eventually started exchanging numbers. Then and went from there where we just started spending more time with each other. Just effortlessly. And then it was simple stuff that was doing the whole entire time. We wasn't spending money. You know what I mean? Like she never at once came to me and say like, "Hey, you gotta take me to this 5-star restaurant." She didn't care about that. She just cared about spending time. And so we went to the park. So we went to had some coffee at Starbucks, even though she don't drink coffee, but she got the desserts and stuff there. So she went and did that. We went and had pizza together, all kind of stuff. And it was built from
Simple
that.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
simple stuff. It just built from that, you know what I mean? And we just built a friendship from that. Then eventually that's when we end up, going into a relationship with each other. Then almost like a year or so later, that's when we end up getting married.
Very nice. Now, how long in between the first marriage and the second marriage was that a long time?
Yeah, 5 years.
So I asked
Hmm.
because a lot of times we've been talking in the red pill space, and let me know if you heard this or you thought about this. Right, the longer a guy is single, it gets more difficult because you start to enjoy your space, you start to
Hmm.
enjoy your peace, you start to enjoy not spending money, right?
Yeah,
And
agree.
unfortunately, that's kind of where my head is at. So I have to like talk to myself like, oh, okay, because I'm starting to enjoy it. Nobody's
Hey,
here, and I don't got to think about nobody else and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
hey, bro. When I talk about enjoying the space, man, I enjoy my space. Um, when I had myself together, I was living in some luxury townhomes in downtown Dallas, in the
Mm,
uptown area. So
mm,
man, I was living it up for real. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed my privacy and my space. Then of course my children would come over and spend time with me because I had we had joint custody over them. But of course the visitation was I believe the first 15th and the 30th for every month. So they'll
mm.
come and spend time with me, and but that space thing, yeah, I enjoy that a lot, man, like a whole lot. Like I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with nobody, and so.
It's wild, man. It's hard to undo that. It's hard to get back into that
Hmm.
groove.
But
Um,
however, my wife right now, she made the transition very, very, very peaceful and very, very easy. Because even as of right now, no, we're come together. You know what I'm saying? As a one married couple, we do things as a married couple, but we also give each other our space too. You know what I'm saying? Where we're not out on each other every day, all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? She's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing. Then we come together, then we just do it all over again.
Let me tell you, man, that is so important because I don't think that ladies understand. You know, I don't. Let me just give my perspective. I don't think you understand how important a man's peace is in being able to do things. And if we gotta constantly stop and entertain you,
Hmm.
I like to read. I'm doing my podcast. I'm doing other projects and stuff. If I got to stop and entertain you because you're bored, because you want to do this and do that and go shopping, and it's like that it's kind of a turnoff. I mean, in all
Yeah.
honesty, at this stage of my life, it's kind of a turnoff. It's like, oh man, I'd rather not deal with that. So a woman really has to understand you got to bring a man peace and have a hobby. I think that's one thing the ladies really got to
Yeah.
work on is
Facts.
having a hobby. I don't care if it's knitting. I don't care what it is. Have a hobby.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Facts, facts, and that's one thing I guided my wife to having this a hobby. It's something that you want to do for yourself because I'm gonna do stuff that I do for myself, and I also let her understand that I'm not gonna stop my hobby. You know what I'm saying? Just to satisfy you. All right.
Mm,
So you don't have
mm,
to figure this out the same way how you figure out how to do stuff on your own before we was together. That need to
right.
still be going on while we together.
Absolutely. And that's a good way to put it. The same things you were doing before, you need to keep doing now.
Hmm.
So you
Exactly.
entertain yourself before me. So keep entertaining yourself. When we'll come together, we'll do some things. But this I gotta be all up on you all the time. No, I'm gonna tell you right now, that ain't gonna work. That ain't
But
gonna work
here,
like that.
here's a flip side on that, brother. that take a lot of maturity to get to that point. But normally women, but it's actually men who be immature like that too, where they be like, well, you gotta do these things that I want you to do, and blah 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 blah. And they end up sabotaging the relationship too.
That's true. That's true. I don't disagree that men got to do a lot of growing up in that particular area. Let
Hmm.
me get to this comment by October. Men get disappointed because they get ghosted for a plate of food and a beverage, but don't think anything when a woman gets ghosted after having sex. We never said that. We never said that. We never intimated that. We never suggested or hinted at that. So I don't know why you would say that. And just like you told us to choose better, you got to choose better. I mean,
Yeah.
what say you, Urban?
Well, I prior before me getting married to my current wife, I have had a lot of episodes where I did leverage women to smashing and passing them. But the thing about it is this: I believe that if that's your ultimate intentions on doing that to someone, I believe that you need to be a grown adult and tell them your intentions right off the bat. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm just here for a fun time, not trying to get into a relationship. Let's do what we got to do and be done with it. And I learned by me being honest about my intentions. I learned that a lot more women was more willing to do that. But on the flip side of her question, that deals with men who are immature in that sense, where they're not being open and honest with their woman about their intentions, and they manipulate them. So when they do stuff like that, it's no different for what the woman do to men when she using them to get a free meal and paying the meal for her kids and everything. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no
Yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely. Um, talk about. Now I'm hearing an echo here. It's kind of throwing me off here. Um,
Is it on my end or
I'm hearing it through my own headphones here. So it's going away. It's gone now. I don't know what happened with
okay?
that. So, what? So talk about your channel a little bit and what I mean. You talk about the red pill space. You talk
Hmm.
about what other type of topics do you discuss there?
Yeah. Now I discussed the red pill from a thought provoking perspective. I also want to talk about religion, and I talk about trending topics as well too. That's happening like matter of fact, like that Daniels thing on. I'll talk about stuff like that too. So,
All right, well let's
so
go there. Let's
whatever.
go there. What about Anton Daniels, man? This dude to me is a clown, but go ahead. What about Anton Daniels?
I have mixed feelings about Anton Daniels. There's some things that I can relate to him on, and there are a lot of things that I'm like, bro, no, that ain't what that is. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Me personally, just by watching his content and how the way he move, I could tell that he is a businessman. He have a business mentality, but I also believe that a lot of things that he do is for more of YouTube, just to be showing off. You know what I'm saying? It's almost as this. It's almost as though he is operated like a man who never had it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like say for example, well, a man who never had sex before, they'll over exaggerate sex. You know what I mean? And so likewise, that's how the way he is, with money, he'll over exaggerate it. Say like I got this, blah 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 blah. But in reality, he probably really ain't don't got it like how the way that he's trying to portray it to be.
I don't think he does. I mean, I'm not in his bank. I'm not pocket watching this dude, but I don't think he does. This is just my opinion. I know he talks about being a millionaire. He might have a little bit of coin, but I don't think he's
Hmm.
anywhere where he wants to be. So,
Yeah,
or
yeah, of course. Now,
because
now I'm
people like
not.
that, people like that move a certain way, right? I mean, why would you be on
Hmm.
YouTube arguing with people? If I got this going on, I wouldn't be on YouTube arguing with people, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Because if you're making that right, you're not going to do nothing to jeopardize it. Period. You know what I'm saying? You're
right,
not going to go on
right,
social
right.
media. You're not going to make these weird business moves like he was doing. He made a business move to go on Buddy show, knowing good well he's like that. He made a business move to have Booty Warrior on his show, knowing good and well that's not necessarily a good business move, but it's just for clout. He made choice to have Choice the White on there, knowing good and well that's not necessarily a good business move, but once again for clout. Now, at the end of the day, I'm not hating on him. I'm not hating on the brother or anything like that. You know, I wish him and his family much success in his endeavors. But me personally, if I know that I have that type of substantial income, I'm not going to do nothing to jeopardize it, period. I'm not going to put myself in certain situations. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know he had Booty Warrior. I don't even know this dude's real name. I don't want to call him that. The Warrior. Let's just call him Warrior. I didn't know he had that. I didn't know he had that dude out there. Last time I saw this, I don't pay attention to Anton, but last time I saw him and Corey Holcomb was about to throw down. So I was gonna root for Corey Holcomb too. So I don't. I saw Corey Holcomb not too long ago. Well, he came like last year, maybe sometime last year, and I saw him out here in Connecticut. I thought he's pretty funny too in a lot. So so I don't know. I don't really keep up with him, but and I was thinking about doing a reaction to that, but I was like, I want to try to keep it highbrow a little bit, So
yeah, of course.
And last time I saw something by Anton, he was talking about he's trying not to swear. Okay, now you want to be a Christian? Now you want to try not to swear?
See, and that's the thing that I'll be questioning people when they claim Christianity, because I believe this. I believe wherever religion that you gravitate towards, you need to follow that religion to a T, because I believe that at the end of the day, that's what the Most High God is going to judge you on. Period. You know what I'm saying? So if you say you're a Christian, you need to be following everything that the Bible say within your faith. Because if you're not following everything that the Bible say within your faith, then that means that you're sinning or you're transgressing against the Most High God. That is how I see it, period. But however, what I do see is this. I see that people try to use religion to adapt to their lifestyle instead of adapting to the lifestyle of Christianity.
That's a good point. That's a good point. On that same point, I want to ask you, because you're down in Texas, there's that, and you say you follow trending topics. Here's something else I wanted to do on my show. I'm going to do it one day this week. Joel Webbin, that preacher, the white supremacist preacher, he's down in Austin, I think, or somewhere down there, Austin or something. I don't know if you heard of him.
I heard a little bit of him.
Yeah. So he's been talking, crazy about black folks. He did a debate, and we're gonna do that one day this week. He did a debate with someone else talking about interracial marriage. So I just want to know if he was a big deal down there, and what's going on down in Texas about interracial marriage, and is the white supremacist Christian right in particular a big deal where you are? Have you heard about all this type of thing? Because they're supporting ICE and all the ICE raids, and they're supporting, this the whole Trump administration. I just wanted to know if you thought about that or addressed that or anything like that.
No, I haven't addressed that particular situation because I have to want to dive deeper into it. Yeah, so I'm not too familiar with it right now, but that's something that I can want to look into. I may end up doing the show on it.
Yeah. Definitely, man. He's been talking crazy. I had a chance to pull up on him in Austin. Oh, you got to tell us about that, man. Did you pull up on his church? This brother's strapped too, so he's strapped and we're looking for brothers.
Yeah. Just about everybody in Texas is strapped because we got an open carry law here. So
yeah, listen. There's two places I would never go to a fight. That's Florida and Texas. So it's just it's just.
I mean to be honest with you, when they call us the friendly state, right? We really are friendly. We really do have Southern hospitality in Texas, as long as you're being respectable. You know what I'm saying? So. But we do this all the time where we like open up the doors for each other. It don't matter if it's a man or a woman. Like, here you go, brother. Have a good day. This is all we are in Texas. But the moment when you become disrespectful, then all hell will break loose for real, like real quick. So that's why it doesn't surprise me about the gentleman that you talk about right now and how the way people are, reacting to it. Because in Texas we do have some old school supremacists here. a
Yeah, yeah,
lot.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Depending on where in Texas you go, but
Mm,
majority of them they be like in like in the rural areas of Texas. You know what I'm saying? Not in
mm.
the city areas, but mainly in I'm saying them country areas. Where they literally be walking around with cowboy boots on and riding horses and you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's I kind of like to do that, and I mean, what's the point of going to Texas?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, man. You got to pull up,
you
bro.
got to do that, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
but you got, I guess, but again, you got to know the right people to deal with. Uh, no, interracial marriage is just another form of social dominance order. So I mean, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to do it. Definitely do a show about that.
Mhm.
Because
Well,
because
how you feel about interracial marriages, by the way? What's your take on it?
I don't have a problem with it. My own person, my here's my perspective on it. I don't have a problem with what one person does with another person. But
Hmm.
let's just say, here's my thought process. If I am dating a white woman, right, and she's got a cousin or her pastor, or even if it's a distant relative who thinks like this guy we're going to talk about, Joel Webben, or anyone else who thinks like that, and of course, I wouldn't want to be around that. I don't want to be around that for Thanksgiving or any other holidays. I don't want that around me or anything like that. So
Hmm.
that's me. I don't have a problem with that, but I personally want a woman who understands my struggle. And whether we watch the movie Black Panther, we watch
Hmm.
Sinners, we watch anything that's really black oriented. I want someone to understand that my music, my culture, my history, my past, my pains, my struggles. My thought process about this current administration. I
Hmm.
want them to understand that, and I that would be paramount for me. So people are free to obviously to do what they want to do. I don't look down upon anyone. I don't spit on anyone. I don't not hold the door open for anyone who's in a marriage like that. You do what you want, but
Hmm.
I'm just looking at the family dynamic because when you marry a person, you're marrying their entirety of who they are, and that's their parents and what do their parents think and what do their brothers think and cousins and this and that and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, of course. So I kind of got a different perspective on it. Um,
Mm,
Now, once again, I'm with you on the whole hermit aspect of it. That we're hermit, and you should be able to marry who you want to marry. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of their
mm,
race. But however, since we're living in a systematic system dealing with race, period,
mm,
I believe that in order for a person to relate to the other persons that they have to be part of their own subscribed race to do it. But when you're going into different races, then it becomes immediately becomes a conflict of interest because different races have been taught different things about one another. And what's going to eventually going to happen is that conflict is going to end up clashing within the union that you're trying to have. Like, say for example, black man been growing up being a black man, a white woman been growing up to be a white woman. She have this certain type of ideology that her fathers and her grandfathers and her mom and grandmom that told her about black people. Meanwhile, the black man had this ideology about everything that he learned about white people. And so what's going to end up happening is that eventually, even though they respect each other, eventually it's going to clash. It's going to come to the point where it's going to meet right there in the middle where y'all gonna discover that y'all have two totally different ideologies about each other. But the important part is that are you mature enough to deal with that? You know what I'm saying? To handle that, to handle what comes with that when that clashes together. Not to mention dealing with family as well too. Not to mention not only dealing with family, but dealing with culture itself too.
right. And I think I said the same thing. I mean, you elaborate a little bit, but I think I was saying the same thing. I don't have a problem with the two getting together, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the family. It's the family, and of course, you're right.
Yeah.
It's culture. One has to adapt to the other culture. Now and this is probably more of an American problem. I'm saying more because let's just say I had passport OG on. I had
Mm-hmm.
passport OG on. And he's over in Japan. Let's just say I went to go visit Passport OG and I meet somebody over there. You gotta adapt to their culture. Then they might not have the same perspective and perception of Black Americans, or maybe a good thing. Oh,
Yeah.
we got a black man. I don't know, but yeah, there's definitely a different dynamic about living here in the states. It's difficult to do because you don't know where we are, and I think again, talking about current events, this Trump administration for the second his second term, the first term as well as this now term has really ripped the mask off of people, and they're more bold with with what they're saying. And we got an administration now that is trying to take us back to some Jim Crow type of stuff, right? They
Hmm.
fired a bunch of people from the military and all these different. His cabinet is almost all white, one black person. Like what is going on here? So, and a lot of people are supporting of this. They're supporting of ICE in their tactics. So if I'm going to speak out against that, um or again, my culture, my history, my background, I can't do that in my own house, or we're at Thanksgiving dinner and everybody else is a MAGA supporter around me. So this is a
Hmm.
this is a problem. I mean, it certainly can be a problem, and these are things that people have to think about. You bring people into the world, and I think, as Micah Malice is saying, right, you bring kids in this, and the grandparents want to get involved about how you train kids and what church they're going to go to and all that kind of stuff, right? It can present a problem. It can present a serious problem. So
Hmm.
that's, I mean,
Yeah.
that's things people got to think about.
Yeah, exactly. You have to consider these things, but this goes all the way back to what I was saying earlier about going initially to these relationships where you have to vet out that person. You have to vet out and see exactly where they at, where their mind is at. You can't just look at beauty and that's it.
Mm, right.
Or for us, the woman, you can't look at financial stability and that's it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go way deeper in that and see if this would be a great fit for, you know what I'm saying, whatever you got going on. Same thing with matter of fact, it don't even have to be, dealing with interracial relationship. Just like you stated, it could be anything. It could be political ideology, political views, it could be religion. You know what I'm saying? All of that is important because it's integrated into our culture
Mm,
regardless of what race you are. So you have to consider all that possibility while entering into this said reunion with this person. Because if not, then 9 times out of 10, that relationship is not going to last. It's going to become toxic, and and we're going to be in a situation that we are right now.
very good. Couple more questions here, brother. So you remarried now. Did your wife know about? I assume she knows about it. What does she think about the red pill space and what your topics are when you talk about male female relationships? What is does she see your perspective and what's going on with modern dating as well? Does she see the problems, or how does that relationship go?
Well, glad you asked. A lot of the conversations that I'll be having on my channel, guess where it comes from? Her.
It comes from her. Okay.
It comes
Well,
from
you
her
got your
because
rider right there.
yeah, so we be have a conversation. We be talking about it. There's some things that she agree with me on. There are other things that she don't agree with me on. But we we meet right there with our differences on it. But at the end of the day, she still encourages like, yeah, I believe at the end of the day, men do need that space for you to tell them about the experiences, so they could be able to at the end of the day choose better.
Mm,
You know, that's what it boils
yeah.
down to. But like she'll see things like the man over there at my channel and stuff, right? She'll see them acting wow, like they hate women and all this stuff there. And I have to tell her like, well, no, it's not that they hate women. It's just that they've been hurt by the said women that they chose to be with, and they're just them expressing their emotion about it. It's no different from what women do. And I show her one, women channel where there's channels on YouTube, women talking about being, child free. They're not going to procreate with men at all. Feminist women and everything. She's and when she's seen that, she's like, I didn't know all this exists. Like, yeah, it's wild out here on YouTube.
These YouTube streets
So,
ain't for the weak. I
mm-hmm,
listen. I wish that I wasn't in this position, man. And I'm trying to change my algorithms, and I'm really trying to grow my other channel, and really want to talk about some other things. Like I said, I'm going to talk about just Joel Webben thing, and really try to talk about some other things. But I do appreciate this conversation. It's very enlightening, man. I'd like to have you
mm-hmm.
back on, man. So tell everybody where we can find your channel. Are you only on YouTube? You have other social media? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, once again, I appreciate you inviting me onto your show. I enjoyed a whole lot the conversation. Through my prayers that we could take and learn from each other, as well as the the fans as well too, taking us learn something from one another, so we can be better men and women, because that's what it boils down to. Now, my main channel is on YouTube. It's the Urban Lounge Podcast. I also have a TikTok as well too, but I'm not as active on my TikTok. I have on IG as well too. I'm not as active on there, but however, people use my IG to communicate with me. So
Okay.
you can check me out on there as well too. I also have a another channel on YouTube which that deals with my DJing side. So that's on DJ Urban T. So you want to check that out too.
Very good. Um, the DJing, is that on YouTube too, or you just do that
It
on?
No, it's on YouTube. I actually have a
Okay.
YouTube channel. I have a what they call that, a musician page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't.
so it's
I don't
DJ
know.
Urban
Okay.
T. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Y'all go over, head over to Urban Lounge Podcast, and listen, man. They just did an update to TikTok. I actually deleted it. I should have deleted my account before, but now I don't know if anybody's seen it. But now, this morning when I was watching Instagram, and I heard people talking about it now, and they were reading through the new uh, um, terms and conditions and all that kind of stuff. I guess now they actually own what you put up there, and they can if you're inactive for 2 years, they can change your name and start using your own picture and send stuff to the government and all kind of crazy
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, Bite Dance. Yep.
I don't like anything like that, right? And I have a smartwatch like a lot of other people too, and I'm sure and they just updated the terms and conditions and had to give approval for using certain features on my watch. And one of them, like, I tend to lose things, right? So if I have my watch, I can't find my phone because it's my phone is all blacked out. So I put it
Mm-hmm.
down somewhere I can't find it. So I hit the little button on there to, so that my phone will start making some noise. And sometimes if I have my phone, I'll use it to find my watch. So I use it to find each other. And so now, in order to use that function on my for my watch, they wanted me to be able to access my contacts. I'm like, there's no way I'm doing that. I'm not gonna to
Mm-hmm.
find my phone. You gotta have access to my contacts. So again, this is what TikTok is doing. I'm sure. Listen, I'm sure that all of these apps are doing it. They're looking through our phones, whether they tell us or not. I'm sure that the government is all in our stuff. I'm just saying, I'm not. I'm not
Yeah.
going to give you permission to do it. So y'all be careful out there
Yeah.
when y'all using TikTok.
Yeah, so we're entering into, I believe, the third age of AI, where they want to fully integrate AI into our way of living. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Mhm.
I have mixed feelings about it. I believe that AI could be very beneficial and useful when it's used correctly, but I also know that we have a lot of bad actors out there that will use it for, what your concerns about, what I'm saying, where it's dealing with privacy. But that's why where we dealing with anything political, we really need to understand what's happening with that. We need to tune into these different debates with the House of Representatives, not debating about the generals or ICE or anything like that, but we need to pay attention to even more important matters such as that. See what type of laws they're trying to pass through the House, through the Senate for the president to sign. Because if you're not aware of that, then yeah, no matter what you do, brother, shoot, they're gonna make you comply with that because it's
Yeah,
in law to do it. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to us as citizens to exercise our right to vote to say that we're going to do this or we're not going to do this. Period. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I definitely agree with that, man. And even now we're sending emails and stuff, right? So AI is giving suggestions. Wait a minute, you're reading my emails, right?
Yeah.
I turned that feature off. I'm sure they're still going to do it. And Miles is right, right? They're asking for permission. They're going to do anyway. Accessing your geolocations and all this kind of stuff. I'm
Mm-hmm.
determined, like, by the end of this year, man. I really want to be somewhere else, and I'm more than likely going to go back to a flip phone, take the smartwatch off, and just really, really just live on the beach and just live, because I don't like them digging through stuff, right? I don't like that at all. And you're right, and we got to pay attention to all this type of stuff. And again, this is not a Democratic or Republican issue. This is both parties are agreeing to this
Mm-hmm.
surveillance state that we're living in, and I don't like it at all.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they believe that we can't make good choices and decisions, so they want to do it on our behalf. That's
Mhm.
where it boils down to. Now, I kind of talked about this on my channel one day, um, while I was sharing with my audience that at the end of the day, the government, they act like, what's best for you, period.
Mhm.
They don't care about voting. A matter of fact, even though I mentioned about voting, at the end of the day, voting is kind of a form of a illusion to pretend that you have control, to pretend that you have a certain type of will, but in reality, you really don't. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot into that, man. And like I understand you, and I agree that a lot of us should have that. A lot of us should have like burner phones, to be honest with you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You could use your main phone for business purpose or whatever, but have a burner phone, for other stuff, so they won't be tracking you. Matter of fact, this what I do, brother. I limited a lot of stuff on my phone. Like I give it certain access to do certain things that I feel that would be more beneficial. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
what I do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, it's difficult, man. It's difficult to and as you mentioned, man, we're just living in this new age where everything is AI, man. Everything is AI. They want to read your emails and text messages. Want this to help you read your text message? No, I don't. I want you to get off my phone. That's what I want. So
Hmm.
all right, brother, man. I really, really appreciate you coming on. We got to do this again. Y'all make sure you head over to Urban Lounge Podcast and give them a like and subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Now,
Oh
how
yeah,
often do you
thank you.
post? How often do you post?
My shorts, I post shorts every single day, every day.
Okay.
My main live shows, I go live at least twice a week,
Okay. Cool.
and then my community posts, and I post every day on that too.
Cool. Very good, brother. Okay, y'all. Have a great, great night. Y'all stay warm, and we will see you guys later. Take care.